Hello once again. This is Slav Barisic, the CEO and founder of PhotoIn. It is 2 o'clock. Basically time to start the webinar on searchable and automated photo documentation in facilities management. I will give it at least another 30 seconds to a minute as people trickle in, and then we'll get slowly started. If somebody can please let me know if you can hear me well, or let's do it this way. If there's any issues, please let me know and I will adjust the sound. It's 2:01, so let me turn up myself a little bit. Let's just get started. So basically, welcome again. This is Sly, the founder and CEO of PhotoIn Mobile Corporation, the provider of the only B2B searchable and automated photo documentation solution in facilities management. We will go quickly about the company just so you know who is actually speaking to you, discuss some photo uses in facilities management, and then basically go into the solution for the process as it is today, basically a better solution, and do a quick demo and discuss the specific use cases and return on investment as it relates to facilities management. Again, reminder, if you want to ask a question or basically make a comment, please use the questions segment of the webinar app. I get to see that, so I'll try to answer them as we go along, and there will be a separate section at the end of the presentation where we will have time for more questions and answers. A little bit about PhotoIn. We're headquartered in Atlanta. Basically solve for the field task of capturing and then automatically filing and organizing photo documentation. That task is actually can be found in different verticals. So besides just facilities management, we target construction, property management, real estate, and most recently even insurance claims adjusting, pest control, etc. We have strategic partnerships with major business cloud storage providers like Box, Citrix, ShareFile, Ignite, Google Drive, and other connectors like SharePoint or a WebDAV connector for in-house servers a company might have, Oracle's Web Center Content, Intuit QuickBase, and actually there's more coming in the near future, including the iCloud, SkyDrive, etc. We do have customers. We did start last year at the beginning of the year, and we already have customers across the vertical, so pretty quick traction, and gotten some cool comments by our existing customers. This is just basically sort of to show that it is already being used in the field. Biggest traction in construction, but talking to the large property management companies and trials ongoing as we speak. Why photo documentation as a category? Basically, real quickly, probably will make sense once you read it, but just to have the numbers, 90% of the information that being processed is done so visually, and it's actually 60,000 times, that's not a typo, visual information is processed 60,000 times faster than text, and 59% of managers miss important information because they can't find it. So we all know about documentation, but a case can be made for photo documentation as a separate category because it provides the visual proof of whatever it is being documented. The use cases in facilities management, fairly simple. You guys know it better than me, and feel free to offer some other ones or ask questions, but basically archiving the site management history becomes valuable to all the stakeholders, including the management company, the owner, the tenants, and other partners like vendors that might be involved in the process. Basically documenting property conditions, basically anything that you see on a daily basis, then doing regular inspections, moving out if there's tenants, or reporting to owners on the work completed on site. change orders, regular maintenance requests. Basically, there's a lot of reasons why somebody would capture a photo and collect information related to it to use it further in the management process. What we have seen and what we have basically set out to solve is that this photo documentation process as a whole is fairly cumbersome and costly because there's a lot of time wasted first on separately and in a disjointed fashion capturing photos, capturing info, but even we see that there are still people that do it with a pen and paper, creating different reports, having those separate files, and then basically manually transferring them either via a download into a computer or some kind of an automated upload, but then having to organize it, file it where it needs to go, potentially even giving a photo a name if it is done, and you still get the photos separate from the rest of the files unless you have a report, in which case you have just a PDF and you can't really, and usually a photo as an attachment, so you can't really get a good visual representation of what you are reviewing. Once the photos, the data, and the reports have actually been filed, in terms of use, still cumbersome. Mostly people have to view a lot of photos to find the few that they need. There's some random file names like IMG and then some letters and numbers. There's lack of context with those photos. They're used by attaching them either to email or to other reports or other carriers, so to speak. And in terms of sharing, generally we see that it's still done a lot by email, so let's call it an unorganized ability or the inability to access the photos and the photo documentation in an organized fashion. So this whole process, basically, whether people realize that they have this problem, there's a better and easier way to do it, and as a whole we basically conclude that it's very cumbersome and costly as of today. As we looked at the process and talked to hundreds of customers and people in the field that actually deal with this process, we set out to define what is the ideal photo documentation solution. So basically there's different stakeholders and different roles that need to be addressed in the different pieces as we've seen in the previous slide. So basically we need to have a simple to use mobile app for the field to capture the photos and info and reports in one place rather than in different ways in different places. Definitely want to capture the GPS, the date timestamp, the user info, project info, property info, depending on what it is, and we would love the data to go with the photos and reports. Instead of getting a solution that then stores those photos on their own servers and require you to access it separately from your own system, we heard customers say it would be awesome if it were actually directly filed into their existing systems versus creating this forest of different solutions, different logins and passwords just to actually access the photos. So direct connection to company storage, not having to manually put the photo in the right place, but that actually happens in an automated fashion, which altogether enables the company to maintain control of both the photos and the data. One thing that I will point out here and there during the presentation, and if you want to learn more, please let me know, the idea that the photos themselves together with this data or the reports can actually drive field to office workflows. So even further, besides just filing the photos and photo documentation into the right space in an organized fashion, driving other workflows that happen from that point on in the in-house system that a customer might have. Because it's a business solution and not a consumer regular sort of app, it's actually a solution, a business solution. It needs to be easily manageable and accessed anytime, anywhere. Therefore, some kind of a web access that enables you to search these photos, to look at who all is using it within your company, to have the ability to turn off the use, to give different permissions, and then also to create even reports and access that data not just within the mobile app used to capture, but actually on the back end from the system itself. And again, because it is a business solution and there's different business needs and the process as a whole can be actually applicable in different parts of the business. It needs to be configurable to support all that. So configurable filing hierarchy, different tags, different types of reports for different uses, define the properties in advance so it doesn't have to be done manually on location, manage those projects and properties and facilities and different locations where the information is being captured. So what PhotoIn ended up doing is basically coming up with that and developing that ideal photo documenting solution by creating a simple to use app that works across different platforms and allows you to snap, tag, and annotate photos. Has a direct connection. In this case, I'm going to be demoing with Box, but it actually can go to ShareFile, to Ignite, to Oracle, to all our partners, and we also have a web connector that actually can file the photos in the same fashion as you will see today to any in-house server. Basically, the photo ends up in the right folder. If the folder doesn't exist, based on the preset hierarchy, the software will actually create the folder. And as we've discussed, we do have a web portal that enables to manage the use of the solution and to configure the solution to the specific business needs. Key PhotoIn benefits of this ideal photo documenting solution is that it actually saves a lot of time in the field. Some of our customers have actually measured this and came up with about 20 minutes per hour of not having to do it separately, not having to put it together later and file it later, but that it all happens automatically. Because of the data that is actually in the photos, it enables easy keyword search of that photo documentation. I will demonstrate that today. And altogether, as a sort of a process benefit, it enables faster and more effective control of what happens in the field and dispute resolution to the extent that there might be some disputes as to what was done, when it was done because of the GPS date. Again, I'll show all that in the live demo. Because it's easy to use and if there's automated filing, it enables capturing more data that might be leveraged for business analysis on the back end. And as I mentioned before, there's an opportunity to do automated photo-initiated field-to-office workflow. With that, I will actually, again, if there's any questions, please use the questions part of the webinar app. And I'll try to answer them as we go along. Right now, let me just make sure that, yes, you all see my iPad. We are right in the app, and actually, real quickly, I can show you it's this little icon, right here, the filing photos to the cloud. We end up right into the gallery. We have the top right search box, camera, action menu. I'll go right ahead and snap a photo. I'm in our conference room, so it's not going to be a facilities applicable photo, but maybe it is. So we've taken a photo. You will notice it knows already what project it is, and it will give us a reminder that we can annotate anywhere on the photo, which is what I will do now, and annotate the chair that we see. You can do as many of these annotations as you would like. Now I'm doing a swipe with my finger from the left to open up the drawer. Notice the GPS in the middle where it says address and date, GPS, longitude and latitude, date and time stamp. The date and time stamp, we do a reverse address lookup based on the GPS. We know which device took the photo. We do all this automatically from the device itself. We actually name the photo and then leverage all this key information, just like associating it with a project or a property based on a predefined geofence. Notice down on the bottom we can actually tag the photo. So let's use our PM tag. Let me just make sure that that's what you all are seeing. Yes. And let's call this furniture. It brings us right back. And before I continue, I will force a quick sync so you can see how the photo gets automatically filed. Key point here is all the information that you see on the screen, we actually take it and embed it into the photo as metadata. And that's how we do the rest of the cool stuff that you will see here. You can have however many tags you want, annotations, they're all configurable, and I will show you some of that real quick. You can email individual photos, you can export into PDFs for one photo reports. Let's go back into the gallery. Again, make sure you all are seeing the same thing I am. We do another swipe from the left. Project address, basically we can filter by any of the variables, and we can actually see the photos on a map. So I'll do that real quickly and show you basically works anywhere in the world, including the Pacific. We had a friend that was traveling the world and used the photo in app around the world. A validation that it works, but it's also something cool to see. It says that I might be experiencing degraded audio quality. Please do let me know if you can't hear me or if there's an issue there. Real quick before we move on, I will just show you how within the mobile app you can actually do a quick search of the photo by any of the data that has been captured with the photo in app. Little delay, the screen, there we go, 164 photos that have a chair annotated in it, and that's how easy it was. Again, reminder that you can ask any questions that you want. I will actually continue and now show you how the photo basically ends up within the right folder automatically filed. So here's all the folders that we have in managing the photo in business. This is a pre-existing folder that I had here. Again, based on the project name or the property name or the location name, there's a photo in headquarters folder. Notice that basically there's different tags as we do different demos and basically organize our data. If you remember, we actually tag the photo as the furniture photo, and the photo actually ends up there in the right folder together with obviously naming, automated naming aspect to it, and it basically happens automatically. I don't know if you can see that I actually just got a message that the photo that we took actually showed up. So I will quickly refresh. Yeah, there we go. So the second chair basically came up. I was doing one practice one. And now real quickly, this is a functionality that we can show off with Box because they support metadata, and we were one of the first ones to do that. On Box, you can actually come here on the right and click metadata and see all the data that has been captured, including the position of the actually, why don't I kill that for a second? The position of the annotation, and by the end of October, you'll actually be able to see the annotation on top of a photo. Again, I'll ask if there's any questions. Basically, what we've seen thus far is a simplified capture in the field and how the photo gets automatically filed into the Bright folder. As I wait just for a second before I show you the configuration piece, I wanted to point out that some of the things that are also coming, I sort of showed the basic stuff, but there's now a logic that can be written where you can leverage multiple pieces of information within the photo in-app to file photos into different folders. So they don't have to follow a certain single filing hierarchy. They can have, based on the information, different logic as to into which folder it's going to end up. We can come back to, yeah, here's the automation piece. Maybe that's, let's see if that's a different thing. We'll talk about the automation piece later. Let me go into the how it all gets configured and set up. Here we are. And again, let me make sure that you're seeing the same thing I am. Here we are in the web management portal. Here's the filing hierarchy. So how did it know to find the project folder and put it under the tag of furniture? Because I set it up that way. And this is how easy it actually is to move things around. we would just click Save down here, and basically we can set up our own filing hierarchy how we want it to go. And not only that, but we can actually create our own tags, and this is how easy that is. We add a category, and then we add as many values as we want. As soon as the devices sync, they pick up this new information across the devices in your company. Not only that, but you can actually, before you even show up at a property, wait for you all to get it, you can define your project or property on a map. So we click New, we basically get a map. We have again the longitude, latitude, the address. We can actually change the size of the geofence. Any device that walks into this radius basically will automatically know that it's such and such project or property name that we assign it to before we go out into the field. In terms of reports, you can, now we're going into settings, you can enter your own logo to brand the reports, and over here on the bottom left you can actually invite tens, hundreds of different users just by sending them an email, and you can actually give them different permissions. Right now we have those where it just uploads the photos, or upload and download, and being able to see other people's photos that work within the same company and same account. This is going to grow as we develop and get more requests, but this is basically where we are now. You can also look at the devices that are using your account and change their setting even post hoc. So basically we can have multiple devices per one user, change their permissions, activate and deactivate devices. And then the final or the beginning piece of actually having an easy way to access the photos, unless you're using Box or your own server, however you want, you can actually come and do it here as well, but do it in a little bit different way, which is a multivariate slicing and dicing. Is basically you can click as many of these you want. You can do a date range and basically get the subset of the photo. But just for the sake of simplicity, let's find our chair on the web portal. So we're going to get some other ones, but basically here's the 164 photos that have a chair associated with them. So again, a real quick pause here to see if there's any specific questions as to what we've seen thus far before we continue the discussion of use case. So one of the questions, does anyone who uses the solution, basically all their photos across devices end up in the same location? That's exactly correct, and that is basically one of the main value propositions of the solutions, that you can have the users in the field across locations, across different devices and platforms, doing different tagging, different annotating, but that they will all be filed into a central repository, and then because of the metadata be searchable and easily accessed, and you will get more context about the photo because it has data associated with it. Well, let's keep on rolling. So in terms of the benefits and the use cases, as we talked about in the beginning and sort of gave a heads up, documenting property conditions, reducing the capturing of the photo documentation and filing time by over 30%. Again, if you think about every photo that you have to save as and put it in the right folder, etc., how much time that takes, and then if you do take a lot of photos, hundreds of them, how much time that actually takes from you. We've seen that it, sorry for the typo here with the comma, it saves thousands of dollars per user annually. Again, it depends on how much usage you have, and obviously if you see the value in photo documentation. And not only for the property management company, but it actually, you could use it as a solution to provide a tenant to document issues and send you the documentation to reduce the need for repeat visits. Because of the automated and basically immediate filing, all the defects and issues can get from field to the office much faster and provide an opportunity for immediate collaboration and resolution of those issues, reduce hours and days of going back and forth and trying to clarify what's going on. The age-old picture's worth 1,000 words, with photo in even more so, so you don't have to be coming back out to the site to actually see what's going on and what the issue is, and you get a GPS proof, including the date that it is that location that is being discussed, and it is at such and such time. You can even do before and after photos as you're submitting invoices for the approval from the owner. Basically, a lot of little sub-uses that can be used there, and at the end, streamlining this process can help you resolve issues faster and therefore help maintain and gain happy and satisfied tenants. One thing that we didn't necessarily get into, and I will actually, I'll do it right now, is the reports. So we sort of focus just on the photos, but basically any report, again, for regular work orders, maintenance requests, move-ins, outs, any kind of special construction. Let me actually really quickly do quick starter report. You can see I have a bunch because again, different customers requesting their own different things. Here's one that is basically of a building. Inspector shows up, needs to capture a bunch of information. There's potentially different members that are doing the different parts of the inspection. He goes to the roof, does his inspecting of the roof, can take a photo and make comments for any of the pieces. And not only that, but basically you can have chapters and sub-chapters to the extent the same thing is being done, and literally have a much easier way of capturing the data and creating that report rather than doing it all separately and then creating the report later on the web and basically doing it twice, so to speak. We are coming up based on demand from the customers with more options in terms of how the reports are rendered, and there's actually people that want a certain user to actually take the photos and information, but then a different potentially property manager to create that one report that's going to go, maybe it's a monthly report. So the ability to create the reports on the web, but to do it in this let's call it smart and information-rich way, where the photo carries the data versus the other way around, showing the data and information first and then having a photo as an attachment. As we've basically discussed thus far, the solution can be used in reporting to owners, and in terms of the system that's being used, it can actually generate notifications. So basically, when a server gets hit with a photo or specific information, again, depending what that system is in box, this is already doable. You can generate automated emails. It can be a request for information. It can be some kind of punch list item, a resolution of a specific issue, getting an engineer out on in the field, etc. So it basically saves, again, a lot of time and speeds up everything and provides better the documentation for any audit purposes or even resolving the disputes. In terms of the report that I showed you, they can actually be generated and distributed from the field versus having to wait to come back to the office to actually make one. And as I've talked about before, in terms of warranties, disputes, any kind of litigation that might happen, photos can actually be searched and found in seconds instead of hours. If you prevent one of those cases or resolve one of those bigger disputes, it pays for itself multiple times over. And in terms of actually documenting and communicating what is being done in the field, it will eliminate any kind of teardowns or rework or, again, repeat visits and a bunch of these other things that we've already mentioned. So again, concluding that the archive site work history is valuable to the facilities management company, the client, but other partners as well, like vendors that might participate in the process. Hasn't been much questions, which could be a good thing that it's all clear on its own, but this is basically the point that I'd be more than happy to answer any and all questions that you guys and ladies might have. I'm not getting any, so again, I'm gonna take that as a good sign, but I will stay, again, to remind to use the questions portion of or the chat portion of the webinar. The questions will pop up for me, and I'll be more than glad to answer them. I wanted to say, to the extent that you want some time back, I know we all appreciate it when we do. I'll stay on at least a few more minutes just to make sure that I answer any questions that might come up in the next few minutes, but that's pretty much it. Check us out at photoin.com. Sign up for the newsletter, if nothing else, to keep getting the information of the cool stuff that we are coming up with. We are pretty active on the blogging side and share the research and the information that we have and that we continue to get from analysts about this space of photo documentation. Some things to maybe mention here in the end. We were recently Citrix approved. We are a Box Dollar Rev partner and Ignite's partner. So these are all real partnership versus just an outside connections that you might hear. Otherwise, if you look on their websites, there's really nothing else that does photo documentation the way we do. And we're just basically looking forward to taking the photo documentation to the next level. But again, I'll stay a few more minutes just in case any questions pop up. But I do thank you for your attention and time today.